Yeah, everyone's asking what is Cred's business model. It's at least clear who their model is. Their model is Ravi Shastri. Business के बारे में बाद में बात करते हैं.
TV umpire to director, we have a player review. Can we rock and roll, please?
Hello and welcome to Bits and Pieces, the friendliest cricket podcast. This podcast uses cricket as a backdrop, but it's really all about banter. Banter, as you may know, replaced the gender term bandsman recently. It is too little too late, but at least it's a step in the right direction. And we are all about being progressive on this podcast, where we've ended up with yet another manel. Let me explain to you what a manel is. A manel is a panel of men who frequently resort to mansplaining. Mansplaining, for the uninitiated, is a term that has its origins in the Le Mans region of France, where they flattened out the bumps and gutters to make it much plainer for the 24 hours of Le Mans race to give the fans a much better viewing experience, which is pretty much what we do. Hold on. I've been told that it's not pronounced Le Mans, it's pronounced Le Mans. Oh well, when life gives you Le Mans, you try to squeeze out at least 1 ml. 1 ml is an anagram of lemon. Anagrams are always a great joke format for an audio show. Okay, this is episode 20 of Bits and Pieces apparently. 20, of course, is bees in Hindi. And it's about time we got into the bee's knees of this episode without me droning on and on. First up, joining me, if we were polling our audiences for their favorite host on the show, they would unanimously say my name. But if we were asked to pick the host with the lowest resting heart rate, they would have to pick this man. The calm, unassuming way in which he walks into the crease and the calculated precision with which he rips apart cricket teams reminds us of an early years Dhoni. The first bee on the show today, Anhoni ko honey kar de, honey ko one Dhoni. Say hi, Nitin Sundar.
Yabba.
In my defense, I did tell you this is very, very random.
Tony, you today mansplained what a podcast intro can be. You've demonstrated what mansplaining is, and you did a very good job of it. Thanks for the grand intro. Very happy to join the hive mind of men today. We should get more women on the podcast. Note to self.
Yeah. Next up, the act of beekeeping is called apiculture, but this man knows more about API culture than most. His compound vision helps him see things that we can't, and then he breaks it down into elements for mere mortals, lacing it with a spoonful of honey to make the medicine go down. The man they call Honey in the Bank. Say hi, PGK.
Just a reminder to our audience, please send all feedback to tony.sebastian@gmail.com. Oh my god, what an intro. Thank you so much. I'm still recovering.
If I still haven't stressed this enough, we are all about diversity on Bits and Pieces. So in order to break the mold with 3 men primarily in the marketing space, we have a man from the finance world. So Trivandrum has given us Sanju Samson for cricket, PR Srijesh for hockey, HS Pranoy for badminton, and they've also given us this man for the World of Cricket podcast. The man who single-handedly got Chinnaswamy to cheer for Dimut Karunaratne. The man who'd much rather run a gossip glossy than fix the Finn Sharks. He's got a great sense of rumor. Please welcome, for the first time on Bits and Pieces, Varun Murali. Say hi.
Hey, hi. Thanks for having me. You know what? I really feel like Siddharth Kaul in the midst of like Virat Kohli, Faf du Plessis, and
Yeah. The only guys are actually doing some work.
Maxwell.
Well done. Welcome, Varun, to the show, chaps. So yeah, I mean, I think we've set the tone already. How can we talk about random cricket and bees and not start with a finer kit? You'll never see a finer team. They'll never be RCB.
Third by Credit B.
A finer kid you'll never see. A finer team you'll never be. Those other teams don't bother me. I'm proud to be from RCB, RCB, RCB.
as is now evident to long-time listeners of the show over the last 20 episodes, Nitin's weird fantasy league has this draft format. And yesterday, I had just one RCB player left, who was Faf du Plessis, who I exchanged for Mayank Markande, because why not? Because he's getting an extra match. That's how sure I was that there is no way in the universe that RCB is, making the playoffs. All Delhi Capitals had to do was knock down a very, very woeful Mumbai Indians. And, Varun also on our separate sort of prediction league said, I'm very confident DC is going to win this. Why don't you update the sheet now only before the match starts? What is this nonsense? Why do we have to wait for the end results? What happened, guys?
Can I just say that I'm amazed that there are people still playing fantasy? Like this league itself, you're having trouble keeping track what's going on. You guys are keeping track in two worlds, like a real world and in a virtual world as well. My God.
I don't think we would be watching the IPL but for the fantasy league.
That's actually true. Yeah. One feeds the other. So clearly, I'm hoping at least one of us did watch the match.
We'll get to that. Guys, we should talk about the match. But before that, there was this thing that happened before the match, right? This is around Arjun Tendulkar, of course. And we thought the only reason this entire season was being played was to basically create an excuse for Arjun Tendulkar to make his IPL debut. And we were sure that, Mumbai are wantedly botching up their season early in the day so that later in the season they have enough, reason to bring this kid into the game and whatnot. And yesterday before the game, Arjun was actually marking his,
No. It goes even one earlier. So, Nitin, what happens is in the last game, Rohit Sharma says very explicitly in the pre-match press conference that we are going to play everyone, new players you're going to play, everyone is going to play, all kids are coming. So, everyone is like, So, before every Mumbai game, Arjun Tendulkar is trending on Twitter because everybody is going nuts. And they're like, Arjun Tendulkar, Arjun Tendulkar, Arjun Tendulkar.
Even Sara Tendulkar went nuts. She came to the stadium to watch.
Sare Tendulkar nuts okay. So basically what we saw yesterday was the culmination of a long epic saga, right? And the culmination of it was that Arjun, the anointed successor, in the spotlight, not because of who he is, but because of who he is related to, stalled before he could take to the field.
Wow.
But enough about the Mahabharata. Let's talk about the IPL.
Well done.
Nice. But how sad was that? I was really looking forward to seeing that guy play, right? This IPL has been all about, legacy and handover. We're all saying, Dhoni's last game in 2022 in yellow jersey, whatever. And then, of course, he said he's going to come back and play. I was hoping, another sort of succession would happen where, the new Tendulkar would sort of come. Been a nice continuity to see, one Dhoni stop playing and one Tendulkar start playing. But it just didn't happen yesterday. It's just sad.
I think it came as a shock, right? Because he was actually measuring his run-up, had a big tape. Like, this was at 6:59, like 1 minute before the toss. Like, he was measuring his run-up and all that. Crick Twitter had already announced Arjun Tendulkar is making his debut today and stuff like that. And then Rohit Sharma at the toss says, we made 2 changes. Ritik Shokil comes in for Sanjay Yadav. Like, come on.
Yeah, but this IPL has not been about handing over, right? It's been like Succession
about
season
keeping.
3 or something.
It's about not handing over. Keeping.
It's like
Exactly.
just when you thought we were out, they pulled us back in again. Literally RCB and Dhoni, who has announced he's playing yet another season. And sorry, Arjun Tendulkar, sorry, wrong season for you.
Yeah. No, Dhoni as the aging patriarch is a perfect analogy, right? There's no getting rid of him. Whatever happens, he's going to keep coming. But yeah, let's talk about RCB.
You know what? I was actually checking we all have this impression that RCB were lucky, which they were. Like 9 times out of 10, DC has to defeat that Mumbai Indians side. But had DC won yesterday, it would have been the first time in the history of the IPL that in a 14-match playoff season, a team with 16 points wouldn't have qualified to the eliminators, actually. That would have been like really unlucky. It would have, been very RCB, like, to be honest.
No, but
yeah,
that's an interesting observation, right? The bottom teams have been so bad this time.
Exactly.
The teams at top have just raked up so many points. It's crazy.
Which are the bottom teams again? The one that defeated DC yesterday, is it? Okay. Cool.
Let's talk a little bit about RCB. So, yesterday's game, I wasn't watching it actively. Like I was watching a movie, but I had my phone on the side. Really, I was actually watching it because Saturdays I watch a movie with my wife, and I was watching a Korean movie called Memories of Murder. It's a 2003 movie, fantastic movie. I really recommend it. So I was watching that, and I had my phone on the side, and once in a while I was just looking at the score. I'm like, oh, what's happening? Oh, what's happening? So it started off with Delhi just losing their entire top order, and then when Delhi started losing their top order, I'm like, oh god, this is like I know this script again, and RCB people are starting to go crazy. Then after they lose just 4 wickets, then Pant and Powell, they put up a partnership for a while, and then I'm looking at it and saying, okay, so clearly this is Pant's moment. Pant finally steps in as the captain and says, okay, I'm going to take this team to the other side, and they end up with like a 150, 160 odd, and then I looked at the score, I was like, well, maybe not, but then it's also supposed to be a bouncy pitch, so no idea what was going to happen.
Yeah, just
And
don't throw in
then
the Powell yet. Towel. Okay.
And then these guys came into bat, and then it just became berserk. Everything was going fine. Then they also started losing a few wickets, and then okay, now this is Mumbai. Of course, this is now Mumbai. Now we know this script. And then it all turns on the 15th over, or is this the 15th over?
Also, like before the 15th over, like I was sitting and watching, like what is Rohit Sharma up to? Okay, like
You could have asked this question
like
at any point of time in the season, but yeah, go on.
massive partnership between Pant and Powell, and both are like massive like hitters, 6 hitters. He's got 2 overs of Riley Meredith. 16th over, all set for the slog. Who does it bowl? Ramandeep Singh. Like I was like scratching my head, like what is happening here? And then to top that, after he comes out to bat, like 13 ball 2, and he was beaten for 12 of those balls basically. It was like maddening, like what was he up to? It was like this old Sharma Kohli rivalry back, like there's no way Rohit Sharma is letting RCB get into the final type feels.
He tried his best to give him due credit.
He did his best, but we all know, right? Friendship ended with Rohit Sharma as far as Virat Kohli is concerned. New friend is Rishabh Pant. There is no doubt about this. I mean, we have to talk. I don't know what Pant was going through yesterday, right? It obviously one of his poorest days out on the field.
Yeah.
But let's first talk about that review that he refused to take.
No, but first of all, how can he lose the toss in such a crucial match? What is going on?
Exactly. Right.
Has he learned
And
nothing
solidarity.
from Kohli's?
Clearly, away from his travails. Yeah. No, but we should talk about this, right? DRS first came into play, obviously, in Test cricket. And in Test cricket, it's always been a very rationed sort of allocation, right? You had, 3 reviews or maybe 2 reviews.
It's
and
2,
you did
yeah.
right for 80 overs, and then it refreshes. The rules have changed. The value of a wicket in Test cricket is obviously very high, right? And you need to go through so many overs if you waste your reviews. So teams are very, very careful about usage of reviews, and rightly so. In T20 cricket, the value of a wicket itself, it's like the car goes out of the showroom and loses its value by 30%. In T20 cricket, every over that passes, the value of a wicket it's just going like down the drain, right? Literally.
Yeah. Like a Tata Punch getting hit continuously while it's driving out of the showroom.
While the rhinoceros celebrate and jump with joy. Okay.
15 overs into the innings, right? You have both reviews. It's not like you're out of reviews. It's not like you have an Andre Russell type player who's coming for whom you want to save your reviews for later or anything of that sort. You are the wicketkeeper. You took the catch, right? As a captain, you don't even need to ask someone else for their opinion on whether that was a nick or not. And you know that this guy potentially can win the game for Mumbai. He's got first bowler, you've got him nicking off. Whether you're 50% or 20% sure, why would you not just take that review? And then he comes back later and says the other people in the circle were not convinced that it was an edge. I'm like, dude, you took the catch.
But that's not true, because like if you see the replays, Sarfaraz goes up to him and he's like, review. And Pant is like,
Exactly.
And the bowler is Shardul Thakur. Yeah. And we know for a fact that
if it is Shardul, it has to be out. Right? Exactly.
last person, like,
It is a typical Shardul thing, right? You come in out of the blue and nick off like random.
if Shardul had like a single line description of him, it would be
I take wickets when nobody's expecting it. Exactly.
that is out.
he held back this review, and then he said, no, I'm not going to take this review. Then in the very next over, there is an LBW appeal, and the umpire says no. And even the bowler is like, yeah, I don't think so. And then Rishabh is also looking at it, and he's like, no, review. And he goes all the way down to the 0th second, and finally he says review. And when they review it, they see it's a left-hander batsman, and so it's a right right-handed bowler, and the ball pitches. And the first thing, like those 3 things that they check, the first thing is, it is like 2 feet outside the leg stump. Rishabh Pant can see it. He's a wicket keeper. He sees the ball. It's like 2 feet outside leg stump. And he's like, chalo, let's review this. This one is a better option to review.
It's called
What is
residual
going
review.
on?
I mean,
He's like,
I don't know,
maybe.
So you have so many thinkers, right? You have Ricky Ponting, you have Praveen Amre, you have the entire world
Please,
sitting there. You have
please.
Shane
Praveen
Watson.
Amre as a
Shane
thinker is
Watson.
debatable, but okay, let's move on. Right?
Praveen Amre is the only guy who's actually done something on field. In the entire coaching staff. But you have Ajit Agarkar, you have Shane Watson.
Shane
You have such, and nobody has had this discussion, and I'm sure this has happened across teams, right? Have they actually not said, you know what, the diminishing returns of, saving reviews? I'm just amazed that IPL captains don't know that when you are, you have a 10% chance of getting a wicket, you just have to go for the review. I can't believe that Pant didn't take that review, right?
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
Even before the review, there was an absolute dolly that is skied. Kuldeep could have taken it as a cotton bowl. Kuldeep's like, no, you're the captain, you're the man with the gloves, you go for it. Pant is like, yes, I am the captain, I am the man with the gloves. And promptly fingertips it down, right? So this brings me to the question of the RCB anthem, where clearly they say the shirt is blue and they were all in the MI jersey. But the song also goes on to say the Pant is red. Guys, conspiracy. I'm telling you, it's all been written.
RCB's best performance came in a game where they were not playing. Their best performance was off the field yesterday, watching this game in their hotel as a huddle. They put the video out. It's great content. In the middle, the Wi-Fi goes off in their hotel and they're moving from one balcony to another. It's very nice to see that, these third world problems also hit IPL teams which have, probably 1000 GB, whatever, Mbps LAN connections and whatnot. But they're sitting there and watching. It's a very funny situation, right? You can't really celebrate when you're watching this match, but they've tried to set up a watch party. They're all drinking water, except for Glenn Maxwell, who's having beer. He's having a Corona beer on the side. Everyone else is sipping water. And
everyone is sitting on beanbags. Okay.
Everyone is sitting
which let me say is so appropriate for Bangalore.
Peak Bangalore.
Right. Everyone is on red beanbags.
Yeah, it's a proper startup culture. So they're sitting there and they're watching this game. They're celebrating the highs and the lows. And they're all wearing blue jerseys on top of their usual red jerseys because they're all cheering for Mumbai, right? And early in the start of the day, Dinesh Karthik posted a tweet of himself back in the days when he was playing for Mumbai. He's wearing the Mumbai jersey. So they were full team Mumbai.
I think they even updated the team logo to a blue version or something. Yeah, they did. They were they're
they
going
did.
all
And
in.
apparently,
And
Faf sent a image where he, Maxi and Kohli were wearing MI jerseys to Tim David. That's the first thing Tim David said in the post-match presentation.
Exactly. Tim David, who eventually won the game, was a player that they let go of in the auction. And there's a Mike Hessen connection over there.
Let's also remember that RCB is the team that goes to the final on their own, right?
The entire song has been written for this day, dude. Pant is red, shirt is blue. Whoever thought the RCB shirt actually is blue? It's a very, very dark shade of blue.
Correct.
But I mean, unless you're wearing vague, 3D glasses, you would not realize that it is a blue jersey. And I'm wondering, why are they talking about a blue jersey? They're one of the few teams that doesn't have a blue jersey. But yesterday, Mumbai was blue and RCB was blue. Golden line shining through. Obviously, there is always a CSK reference somewhere if RCB is coming up with a song. Those other teams don't bother me. We are RCB. We are going bold, going to the final, not on our own. Right? At least not into the playoffs. Right? Oh man,
It is such an amazing irony that the song is the entire song. Nothing is about what RCB does. It is all about RCB gets to the final not on their own. Other things will happen and we'll get there. The RCB team was the happiest yesterday and they were not playing. The RCB fans were the happiest yesterday and RCB is not playing. Okay, their fans are in the stadium screaming and shouting. You can hear Pant is getting frustrated because he's hearing RCB. Everyone on Twitter is like, wow, RCB fans are in the stadium. Of course. Is RCB playing? No, RCB is not playing, but RCB fans are in the stadium.
Ramandeep has at the peak of his cricket career, right? This guy plays one match in a T20 tournament and he's playing for Mumbai against Delhi. and there is like RCB, this 25-man RCB contingent going, Ramandeep, Ramandeep, Ramandeep.
This is like you cheering for Dimut Karnaratne, dude.
Yeah, Dimut was legit shocked that day, dude. He's like, what is happening? Like, why is this happening to me?
And he turns back and see Dean Elgar fan club. He will be like fully confused.
But he didn't even turn back, right? So this basically happened actually real time in the stadium. And Harsha Bogle had to actually poke Dimut in the ribs to see people are cheering for you. And it's like Varun getting an entire stand behind Dimut Karnar. And then he's like, what is happening to me? So yeah, Ramandeep also. Yeah. Peak.
IPL is a microcosm of India, right? Really think about it. People in Mumbai, people in Chennai, they keep claiming that their cities are the best, right? But they are always at the bottom of the quality of living surveys these days. Very much like they're at the bottom of the IPL table. And they're resting on past laurels, right? They were important cities back in the day during the British Raj, like in the past. Not anymore. People of Delhi and Mumbai are always fighting amongst each other to say which is the best city, right? Bangaloreans never join this fight, but they quietly sit back and watch, right? They're like popping popcorn and watching while people from Delhi and Bombay are fighting amongst themselves. It's also typically Bangalore, right? The hard workers are all in Bombay and Delhi. Bangaloreans don't do any work. They sit on beanbags and chill, putting Twitter threads. That is what they do, singing songs and sitting on beanbag. And beans are also, there is Bangalore's origin story is Bendakaluru, which is coffee beans or whatnot. Generally chilling in good weather, guys, like in a hotel room, kickback. Hyderabad claims to have great weather, guys, right? But if you really go to that city, for 5 months it has great weather. And then for 5 months it is uninhabitably hot, which is exactly how their season went. 5 wins on the trot, 5 defeats on the trot, out of the season. And if you think about it, right? Hyderabad is a big contributor to brain drain, right? Their best talent is always settling overseas. But these overseas talent has settled in different teams, whether it's David Warner or Rashid Khan. Meanwhile, while all these places are claiming to be the best year on year, right? If you actually look at the tourism information, Rajasthan is the state that attracts the most foreigners year on year, right? So it's quietly been the best. And also because you can get all kinds of substances to consume in Rajasthan quite happily and easily, much like their team is high on Happy Low this side. Lastly, while all these old metros are generally fighting for best city title resting on their past colonial laurels, right? And that's Mumbai, Chennai, Delhi, Kolkata. The real winners, the new power centers of this country, let's all agree, Lucknow and Ahmedabad. I mean, I'm not making any...
Oh, wow.
Applause.
Yeah.
Can I just say that in this entire monologue, the best part of this entire thing is that we've spoken about everything, but just like India, we have forgotten Kolkata. Kolkata. That's also right.
Lots of thinking people. Too many thinkers is the problem. The CEO is
and you forget about them. You just move past them and move on.
But also let it be said at this point that you can catch Nitin's stand-up show probably on Glance or somewhere because obviously not. And also he's wearing a saffron t-shirt, very appropriate.
Sunrisers.
So the RCB watch party highlights yesterday ended with "It is not about luck now," which is a clever play on words, but actually they're playing luck now, so it is about luck now. Let's see.
We have to spend 2 minutes talking about Pant's IPL. Is it the worst IPL that any captain has had ever?
Ravindra Jadeja.
Ravindra Sharma.
But Ravindra Jadeja is no longer the captain.
Season itself.
I think it has been a bad IPL for all these young Indian wannabe captains, right? I mean, all of them without exception
they don't
are
wanna be.
shocker.
Thank you for excluding Sanju Samson from the list of probable young Indian captains also. Despite losing 12 out of 14 tosses are top of the table, guys. I mean, in the...
That is true.
Yeah. Yes. Please, okay, continue your illogical rant about young Indian potential captains.
Before we go there, Tony, you have a very niche business sitting inside you. You should launch a Sanju Watch app, right? It has all the stats, everything. How many molecules of oxygen has Sanju Samson consumed today? How many steps has he walked? Anything you want to know about Sanju Samson, which, by the way, no, there's a market size of one though. It's basically you. And maybe 4 people sitting in Dubai who are interested in Sanju Samson.
I don't agree it's a market size of one. I'm just like, Kerala does not send cricketers, right?
Correct.
When Kerala sends cricketers, even like
They sent
little
them to
bit.
Dubai.
No, they try to appropriate them as much as possible because they're so starved and it's such a cricket crazy place.
Yeah.
I remember this in the 90s. I don't know if you know this, that Ajay Jadeja is
Yes.
actually
Yeah.
half Malu.
Correct.
Okay. You know
Alapura.
Ajay Jadeja is half Malu.
Yes.
Yes. And he comes and he plays.
And he
this
loves
game. I think
eating
it was against-
puttu, as Malayalam Manorama has told us.
No, he actually comes and he plays one game. I think it was in Kochi
Yeah.
against
Yeah, yeah.
Pakistan, right? And he
Australia.
scores like Australia maybe, and he scores really well. And at the end of it, in the post
He go crazy,
presentation, he actually speaks a little Malayalam, and the crowd goes nuts.
Yeah.
They go lose their shit completely. I've not been able to find that video,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's really bad Malayalam he's speaking. And
Yeah.
then
I was there.
of course. Oh, of course you were. Of course
This
you
is
were.
the same
This
match
is
in
where you
which
were.
Sachin Tendulkar took 5 for 32.
5
Yeah, so.
against Australia. That's right.
But yeah, Ajay Jadeja, we had appropriated him as Malu till the whole match fixing thing broke out. So,
That they're like, oh, this fucker is Rajasthan.
correct.
Random Ajay Jadeja trivia. So Jadeja now lives in Goa, by the way, right? And a bunch of these guys. Apparently, Ashish Nehra also has a villa or something in Goa. So Jadeja works for Crickbuzz, right? And he does all his whatever clips and everything sitting in Goa, and he's living it up, right? So he's like in the party scene, foodie scene. You go into some of the more high-end, boutique restaurants in Goa, you might bump into Ajay Jadeja, which actually happened to my brother a few months back. And randomly they started talking to each other in Malayalam as well. Another interesting, so Jadeja also recently got into trouble and Goa has, like a garbage mafia like all other parts of India. So apparently he was struggling wherever he stays, he was struggling to get rid of the garbage or something. So apparently he took a bag of garbage in his car, drove to another nearby village and dumped it. And he got, and police cameras caught him doing that, and they came and fined him, and this was in the papers. and the article, you'll find it ends with the line that Ajay Jadeja very cooperated with the authorities and willingly paid the fine also. But so much for Jadeja today.
Yeah. How do you get here? Yeah. So, sorry, Varun, you were talking about the young
Sanju
Indian
Samson.
captains, Shreyas Iyer being one of
Yeah.
them. But let's go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, Shreyas. I mean, even Rahul has had a very average tournament as a captain. Like, you go across teams. You had Jadeja first. Samson, I think, has been the only exception, to be honest. I think he's been like brilliant. But all the others, even Hardik Pandya, for all of what Gujarat have done, like the other day in the game against RCB, Maxwell comes in. He's got overs of Rashid Khan up his sleeve, etc. Who does he bring onto bowl? Himself. And he promptly gives like 20 runs in that over and finishes the game. He has got like Lockie Ferguson, Mohammad Shami, everybody, and he promptly like brings himself on. So yeah, I think that's a bit of a concern going ahead.
No, but I think Kaus had established
especially-
this, that Hardik is all about experimenting. Even at the experiment for experiment's sake, dude, it doesn't matter if they don't win or whatever. But they are third now? Oh no, they're still top of the table, right? Gujarat.
They're top of the table.
Yeah, there you go. So that's
Okay.
all.
No, look at all the Indian players who have had a bad IPL. Shreyas Iyer, Rishabh Pant, Bumrah, Jadeja. Yeah, it's like a long list. This does not look good.
all the batsmen.
But
All the
let's just say the Bits and Pieces jinx is still alive because Bits and Pieces is famously named after Jadeja in that sense. And promptly we
There
completely
you go,
screwed
dude.
the poor
Yeah,
guy's
he's having his worst year in in all cricket. And it is the year that the podcast was launched.
That's true.
Yes, clearly all the young Indian captains are not doing well. Kohli is not doing well. Rohit is not doing well either. Kohli has given up. I'm telling you guys, there are 2 World Cups coming up. There is no captaincy talent left in this country. The MSD is coming back, dude.
And Dhoni to Dhoni
it is
kar de,
happening.
come on.
It is going to happen. Cricket's first ever non-playing captain. He might actually even do wicket keeping. Though he did some terrible wicket keeping by the way in the last game. If anybody, he let some 4 wides go below his leg.
That's true.
Yeah.
Under his leg. But but it's very possible. Like there is no one else to there's no other captaincy DNA in this country right now. So it's Dhoni.
The next T20 World Cup after this is in India, right?
After this, how much into the future do you want Dhoni to keep playing? I mean, I'm not saying it won't happen,
but Nitin, the real question that you asked is, if not Dhoni, then who, right? And we don't have an answer. So
it is Dhoni. So we have the T20 World Cup in Australia this year. We have the ODI World Cup in India next year. And if you want to win ODI World Cups in India, who do you call? You call Dhoni. It is going to happen. I'm telling you, the crisis is getting real.
Gautam Gambhir just screamed.
He can be the team mentor or team mentor.
This is not good.
Yeah. So we won back the 3 cricket fans from Kerala who listen to this podcast. Now we're going to win back the 10,000 fans from Chennai, because PGK will start talking about R Ashwin and
R Ashwin.
Our Ashwin. Hit on the chest 5 times. 7 times?
7 times, dude.
7
times.
Definitely
I don't know. There is definitely a coded message there. He's definitely taking, he's riling up MSD for sure. He thumped his chest 7 times after hitting his 50.
As Sriraaj said, Illuminati of West Mambalam. Okay.
Commonality only.
Okay, no. I think for a while in this podcast, we have always been talking about Rajasthan. And I think even from the beginning, we were saying that, this is a good team. It looks like a good team if only they could sort out that big cliff between the batsmen and the bowlers. And at no point did we ever think that the person who could do that was going to be R Ashwin. We made so many jokes about him through the entire thing. We told him that he's getting retired out, then we came at number 3, then he came in at number 7. And after all of this, man, I just can't laugh anymore. After what he did in the last game, I mean, he was building up to it. It wasn't just that. But the last game was just absolutely phenomenal. This is the game that Rajasthan are playing against CSK. It is the last game of Rajasthan. It's almost certain that they have qualified at this point in time. But it was really important for them to come to the top 2 because it gets them 2 shots instead of playing against, now Arsey Bee. So they wanted to try to win the game. And it ended up in a situation where they were chasing, and the chase started to become wobbly very quickly. And they sent in Ashwin at number 5. And remember, at this point in time, Ashwin has played all positions. He's played number 3. He's played at number 7. He's played even below that.
Yeah, number
and typically
11. And
he's retired out.
He's played captain, coach, mentor, umpire at various points in time.
With and without lanyard cable around the neck.
So he's done everything, and now he comes in at number 5, and he comes in above Hetmeyer and he comes above Parag, which is a slightly unusual choice. And nobody knew what was happening, but he was playing, and everyone thought that he's probably going to anchor the place and the other people are going to start hitting, and it doesn't. Things start to go bad. Riyan Parag falls, Shrimnan Hetmeyer falls, and both of them fall to really unnecessary dumb shots, for the lack of a better word. And so finally you're left with Ashwin there, and man, what an innings. And he's just starts swinging, hit sixes, and very calculated, very great. It wasn't just it was very clearly that he had worked on it. It's very clear that
it was a very Michael Bevan type innings, right? Because
absolutely.
Usually when you see a 150 chase, with 6s, but only towards the end, and very calculated hitting. And he was, pinching singles here. Ashwin pinching singles is not a great sight, but in his own way, he was, trying to keep it risk-free as much as possible. Very interesting the way he did it, which is not how usually T20 chases are broken the back of, right? Of course, CSK, enough said about CSK, but I mean, you double your score, your power play score, at the end of 20 overs. What is this? There's some new mathematics of cricket that has been invented.
So
by
what is it? 75 of the first 6 and then another 75?
75 out of the remaining 14.
Exactly the same of the remaining 14. With one guy going bonkers, right?
Moeen Ali.
Moeen Ali. Nobody remembers.
Scored a 91. I think 91s are 97.
Yeah.
91s are memorable. Sorry.
Dhoni's justification at the end of the match was absolutely out of this world. He was like, Ian Bishop, the first person, why did you go so slow in the middle overs? Dhoni was like, we lost wickets. So A, I had to go slow, and B, because I had to go slow, I also asked Moeen Ali to go slow.
No. He starts off by saying, we are one batsman short. Okay, we are one batsman short. Who is that one batsman short? Who is it? Okay, that one batsman short is Jadeja, whom you sent home. Okay, you are the one who kicked him out. And you're like, we are one batsman short, so what can we do? We are going to go slow.
Standing in Fine, like everybody is going at Balaji, zara dheere chalo.
Actually, जहाँ Balaji zara
That,
dheere chalo.
Run the ball 23. When he came out to bat, we said, okay, Dhoni will now score a respectable 31 or 27. You're like, hey, no, Dhoni will do well. He actually ended up doing worse than the respectable scores that we came up with.
27 of 28 or something.
Completely screwed up Moeen Ali, who was going great guns at the other end. Right? He was smashing everything in sight. He also couldn't bat. And listening to Tamil commentary, by the way, during these CSK games has been hilarious. Towards the latter stages of this season, this disaster season. So there was this, suddenly at the start of his innings, Moeen Ali hit a couple of fours. Okay, and the commentators RJ Balaji, it's been a long time since CSK has hit 2 fours of consecutive balls. This is amazing to watch. And you have Chica at one side who is talking all kinds of rubbish. Yesterday, Chica was like, hey, I used to bowl part-time off spin. I've taken wickets of Viv Richards and Bibi Richards. Richie Richards. What are you blabbering? I obviously paraphrase, but he was saying all this in Tamil. It's hilarious.
हमें ये टुकु करना नहीं आता. Did he say it? Okay.
And he starts abusing the batsman. Day Shimrane, Patadida day. What is this? Have some respect for the players.
Yeah, I hope he didn't pun on Hetmeyer. So in Tamil.
Not yet.
Okay.
So this other thing, since we are talking about Chica, right? So Chica is actually not in the studio, right? Or he's not in the place where the rest of the commentators are. He joins over Zoom. And over Zoom, I guess they're doing an audio call, right? Somewhere in the middle, for a brief 20 seconds, they put him also on video. So you can see Chica on the right frame and you can see the rest of the panel on the left. It's like these uncles who suddenly have turned on video on their computer. Hey, how are you all doing? You're doing commentary, man. What are you? He's made it. Did you eat? What? It's its own trip, dude. See, Tamil commentary is its own trip, dude.
Yeah, but arguably the best commentary feed since Dugout no longer exists, even if you don't follow Tamil.
Oh, it's better than Dugout. It's dope, dude. Since we are going into playoffs, we should do a quick go around the table. Who are we backing to win the IPL? And I know Tony is obviously heart, soul, kidneys, everything are backing Sanjumohan and Rajasthan.
No. It's not just Tony. I'm with Sanju. I stand with Tony. Okay. Tony
for Wani, dude. Rajasthan is going to do it this year. For one. And with a leg spinner with Yuzi Chahal leading the way and Ashwin, they're doing it with spin. They're doing it with the Mallu captain. They're doing it for one. Let's do it.
Yeah. Despite
Varun,
Joss Butler losing form.
Joss Butler. He just has to change his name to Joss Butler. Butler Soda.
I am actually fancying Lucknow to
finish. Cows will come next week and have a few words.
I have a feeling if Lucknow had been in the top 2, they would have been strong contenders. The fact that they've slipped to 3rd puts them in a slightly precarious position, I feel. Yeah. Not that I'm really backing RCB to win anything, but RCB is the sort of team who might suddenly show up and win one playoff and then again celebrate team song and then lose.
You're right, Nitin. I think there is, since this eliminator started, only once has a team that has not finished in the top 2 gone to win the IPL. And guess who lost in the final that year?
Was RCB.
You didn't have given the prelude at all. You just generally asked, guess who lost in the final that year? RCB. Always the answer. Any year. Even if it is not the IPL. World Cup, who lost the final? RCB.
But I would love to see RR versus RCB in the finals, right? That'll be good enough for me. I don't care who wins. Actually, I do, but let's just...
It'll be the Yuzi Chahal derby if it happens.
I don't see Gujarat not making it to the finals. I feel like it's a good team. I think it'll probably be an RR versus GT.
Their batting lineup is pretty crap, no? I mean, not that I've...
Dude, Hardik Pandya is the 4th highest run scorer of the season.
That's why the batting lineup is pretty crap.
No, that's why all the batting in the IPL is pretty crap is what I'm trying to say. Hardik can be the 4th. But yeah, I mean, we didn't expect Hardik to come in and bat at number 4 or very often it's 4 or 5 that he's batting, right? He had to step up because they literally don't have a middle order. But he stepped up and he's got them the runs as well. So you're right, it is a thin looking batting lineup, but it's worked so far. I agree that it can lose steam at this stage in the tournament, but we'll find out.
Is Saha playing in Calcutta? Is that what's going to happen now? And
you tell me.
Yeah, you tell me.
I'm just seeing Cricinfo has come out with a 15-man probable squad, the T20 World Cup for India.
Yes.
So I'll read it out. It's
Guess who's not in it?
openers, and they've said picked based on role-wise performance.
So this is their own opinion. This is editorial.
Yes.
According to
So
cricket.
they've picked
Yeah.
Rahul, Shaw, and Rohit as the openers.
Oh.
Middle order is
Why
like a
there are
team.
3 openers in cricket, is it? Okay. Cool.
On what basis did Rohit Sharma make it into the squad? I mean, it's not like I'm batting for Kohli or anything, but if Rohit is in this
Role-wise
team, then
performance.
They're saying based
Captain.
on role. Rohit is the third one, stand-in.
what role? Like he's rolling on the field these days. Like what role are we talking about?
If you need a solid 2 of 13, then
Yeah.
who can you call?
He's already last match. He's preparing for the one-off test, dude. Like proper 2 of 13, seeing off the new ball and all. Like, I'm happy. I'm happy he's doing that.
After losing the first match in the World Cup, let's smile, boys. Let's smile.
Smile and wave.
The middle order is Samson, Suryakumar, and Rahul
I
Tripathi.
approve.
Finishers Hardik, Jadeja, and Pant.
Jadeja only got finished. What? Finisher Jadeja.
Spinners Ashwin and Chahal. Fast bowlers Arshdeep, Deepak Char, Harshal, and Bumrah. So they have left out Bhuvi also. for this.
Arshdeep.
But this is like
Haven't you noticed who all they've left out? They've left out Bhuvi. Most importantly, why are you not seeing the most important person they've left out from the squad?
They left out
Are you
Chahal,
saying Kohli?
Which is
No, Kohli is not in the squad.
Yeah, I mean,
no.
Kohli,
Yeah,
it's a
Kohli,
fair
yeah,
call.
it's
Yeah,
pointed
Kohli.
out.
How does
I
Kohli
think so,
fit into
fair
any
call.
T20
Kohli doesn't
squad,
fit in.
dude?
No, but the best part is the Cricinfo article, the amount of like pussyfooting they're doing to basically explain why Kohli is not in the. I mean, like without taking Kohli's name, they're like, this is role based. This is just us. Don't come to us. No pitchforks, guys. This is just like our.
So, and they've not put a byline, right? This is ESPN Cricinfo staff, I assume. So, this is how
very
cricket media
unlike
has to
Cricinfo.
function, unfortunately.
They usually like predict the 11s. They have Rohit, Kohli, and Bumrah,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
all
yeah.
other 8 slots are vacant. Usually.
Can be one of these 15 players. Yeah.
Kuldeep Yadav has not made it as well to that squad.
Yeah.
I mean, he's had as
There's
good an
going to be
IPL
some
as you would
big-
imagine.
Big axings from this, like DK is one other.
Yeah,
obvious
DK is
pick
not
that
there.
has-
And none of the fast
a-
bowlers were all doing very well, right? Avesh Khan is not there. The Imran
Mohsin
Malik,
Khan.
yeah, like if you don't, Mohsin as well, right? One of these 3 you would have expected on the
I
back
think
of
they'll
this
have
IPL.
to pick 15 and another 10 as net bowlers for the.
Washington Sundar will be there, dude.
Yeah.
World famous net bowler. Nattu. Yeah,
Natraj.
everyone and their brother-in-law has a left arm seamer.
And if
except
you
for
read the Cricinfo article, you become very clear what are the problems in Indian cricket. Look at this. Okay, so what they're doing is here's how they define the role. Role 1, power play enforcer. Okay, you would think that
Enforcer.
there'd be like. Yeah, you'd think that in other teams, when you say power play enforcer, this is the one who starts hitting at the top. There'll be like 10 names. Like England have like Butler, Bairstow. They're like 100 people, right? In India, Prithvi Shaw and Ishan Kishan, 2 people. Okay. Role 2, here is where it gets interesting. Anchors / crisis men. Okay. Contenders.
crisis men.
Crisis men. Contenders. Rohit Sharma, KL Rahul, Virat Kohli, Rituraj Gaikwad, Shikhar Dhawan, Shreyas Iyer.
crisis है क्या मैं आऊँगा crisis है क्या मैं आऊँगा.
Fucking hell, there are like 7 people ready to anchor in T20.
This is like Dhoni, dude. I'll create the crisis, then I will ask my other player also to become crisis handler. So we have a lot of people to handle crises.
You just need to slow
Crisis.
Role 3 is spin hitters / intent machines.
Intent machine.
Intent machines. Okay.
Who is Ravi Shastri?
Nobody else has intent. Only these 2 people. These set of people have intent. Intent machines. But the people are Sanju Samson, Suryakumar Yadav, Deepak Hooda, Nitish Rana, Rahul Tripathi.
Intent
What
machine.
does Hardik Pandya have to do to become an intent machine?
No, wait.
It's like an insult.
I'm waiting for his definition. Come on, let's hear it.
Role 4, finishers. Okay,
Oh,
finishers. And look at the names, look at the people in finishers. Okay, Hardik Pandya, Rishabh Pant, Ravindra Jadeja, Dinesh Karthik. These are all people whose
Who are finished?
confidence is finished. Exactly. Their confidence is finished, their careers are finished, everything is gone after this IPL.
They know how
And
to
these are the
finish.
finishers. Okay. Roles 5 and 6. Control artist with an E.
Oh.
Okay.
Is there an accent on top?
No. Okay. Control artist and a wicket taker. And here are the people. I mean, of course, with this kind of a title, you have to have Ashwin here. So Ashwin, okay.
Control artist.
Control artist, okay. Or maybe wicket keeper. Okay. Anyway. Ashwin, Chahal, Yadav, Patel, Akshar Patel, Rahul Chahar, Ravi Bishnoi, Washington Sundar. Okay, fine. Good. At least this is strong.
So they came up with a new name for spinner basically, and they're calling it control artiste.
Exactly. 7. Power play specialists. Okay. Jasprit Bumrah, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Deepak Chahar, Mohammad Shami and Mohammad Siraj.
For 6 overs, you will have 7 bowlers. Sir.
Even Siraj won't pick himself in the team right. I'm pretty sure he only said in the last match, I'll sit out, bhaiya. It's okay. Like,
in fact, I'm surprised Deepak Chahar, I think he's, by not playing the IPL, your cred goes up and everyone else is doing bad.
Then they have 2 other categories, and here's the last category, and everyone will be thrilled here. The last category, multi-dimensional players. Okay.
Ooh,
Rayudu.
But wait and see
die.
Who are the multi-dimensional players according to Cricket for now?
Okay.
Hardik Pandya, Ravindra Jadeja, R Ashwin is now a multi-dimensional player. Okay, Washington Sundar, Akshar Patel, Deepak Chahar, and the one and only Shardul Thakur.
Lord finally makes an appearance.
Lord.
So
Very
much
good.
contortions. All of this just to have Kohli out and say, no, sorry, Kohli. Not a
I mean, this is like a lot of roles they've come up with, a lot of names they've picked, and still Kohli can't make it. It's a big call that Cricket has made.
But
no more Cricket for interviews.
should we talk about? We were all waiting for 71, and he gave us 73. Guys, come on, his King is back. Please, no, nobody believes this, dude. That innings was pretty good.
I was quite shocked at how supremely he played Rashid Khan of all people. This is a guy who is clueless against spin, and he was smashing Rashid Khan. But it was funny, he couldn't lay a bat on Sai Kishore, but Rashid Khan, no problem.
Exactly.
I'm telling you, people from Chennai, man, they have the hex over RCB folks always, right? The Sai Kishore shows up and Kohli's gone. But really, dude. It is again the monkeys on a keyboard analogy, right? Kohli has done everything. You play so many innings, so many shit innings only you can play. Eventually 173 will definitely happen. And that is what is happening.
But Rohit Sharma has not done even that.
He is preparing for that.
He's his captain. That's okay. Why we can have only one captain, guys. So
what is Rohit's top score? For him, late 40s something, no? 48, 49
I
something.
think so.
yeah.
He got
think he
close
made
to 50 in
150,
one of the games and got out. He didn't get a 50, I think. Yeah. Even Pant did not score a 50 this season.
Really?
He's been batting at
Pant.
4. No?
Yeah. No,
I
Pant
know,
did
dude.
Okay.
In my weird fantasy.
But let's also just call out what it is. Pant is definitely not a T20 player. Come on, for the Indian.
Pant can. I think Pant
such
is
an
being.
irony.
He's probably overshadowed with captaincy. And I do get where you're coming from. It's just like Sehwag often couldn't find his gear in T20 because he was already playing T20 in other formats. So he just couldn't figure how much further can I go, right? And Pant probably is struggling with the same sort of trouble. I think they should unshackle him and let him be himself. You can't make Pant a captain. I know we spoke about this a few months back. Said Pant probably potentially future captain. I don't think he's anywhere near ready for that role.
This is all boiling down to bring Dhoni back to be captain.
Unshackle
everyone else.
Hashtag Tala. I am telling you, the CSK team, right? They've changed Tala they've changed L into 7. You read it is Tata. Tata is grandfather. Right? They're making a seamless transition. Tata is coming back. Telling you.
Instead of being chief mentor, I think he should probably call himself chief catalyst for the Indian cricket team. Look at the impact it has had on Ashwin.
Chief catalyst.
The chief catalyst is around.
Chief catalyst of Tata IP.
So out of all these 25 roles that ESPN Cricinfo put in, they still couldn't fit Shreyas Iyer.
He's there in one of the categories. He does not make it to the final 15.
Managers, no?
Remember, he's the anchor. I
he's a
told you that there are some. He's one of the 7 anchors.
I don't know if you guys feel this, right? I know we've made fun of KL Rahul on the field when he's captain and being clueless. But Shreyas Iyer's expressions when he's on the field as captain scream cluelessness, right? It is just a facial expression. He looks like he's in a daze, dude. He has no idea. He has no control over what's going on. Something's happening somewhere. He's looking here and there. Whether things are going well or not going well, you don't see a sense of, there's no conviction in anything that Shreyas Iyer does when he's on the field. You just don't get.
With KKR, CEO is also captain.
You're right, but I used to feel this about Shreyas Iyer even when he was the Delhi captain, where it did come out that Ricky Ponting and the think tank was also calling the shots quite a bit. But Shreyas Iyer never gave me the sense that he has any idea what's going on.
Guys, this is all post facto. People would have said the same thing about Dhoni if India was losing. They would all look at Dhoni and say, look at him, he has no energy, he looks clueless, he's this, he's that.
disagree. They're saying that about Dhoni now, by the way. But on Shreyas Iyer, I had this feeling the year DC went to the final. So they did well for a couple of years when he was the captain. And you were like, it seemed to me that they were doing well despite him. He just did not seem to know what was going on.
Yeah.
And this year he's been brutally exposed.
Yeah, I think we've just done too much analysis, guys. It's time to talk about the only Ravi Shastri. Yeah, so Ravi Shastri woke up one day and started tweeting pretty smart. And we were like, for the first 2 tweets in, oh wow, I mean, like Ravi Bai is being Ravi Bai. But then by the 3rd tweet, we knew that this is inevitably working its way towards a cred ad, right? With Ravi Shastri coaching a hockey team in a bar.
That is a hockey team.
I mean, he's saying 70 minutes, guys. Like that's yeah. I think it's a.
I think it's deliberately ambiguous. Yeah, it's a Chuck the Rubber, but I think it's deliberately ambiguous.
70, right? It's 60 minutes now.
Oh, hockey 60 minutes now, but maybe a Chuck the India.
It's 15 minutes 4 quarters.
10 minutes strategic timeout.
For 4 quarters is what they were probably going for with Ravi Shastri.
Guys, I know we spent a lot of time talking about cred ad last time, and I was actually in the cred corner while PGK explained that he absolutely hates the cred ads. You know, there is this term jumping the shark, which was made famous by the show Happy Days, where Fonz jumps on a shark, and after that the show totally lost its plot. I would say the Shastri ad is probably where cred has jumped the shark. In fact, you know, it was too good a thing, right? You know that they are going for quirkiness, they're going for 90s nostalgia, 80s nostalgia. Shastri is actually the perfect fit on paper.
Yeah.
I think they just had the great opportunity to get Shastri and create great content, and I think they just went overboard with it, and it's terrible. It's a terrible campaign. It's a terrible ad.
Yeah. The problem is it works well when you're juxtaposing things that shouldn't work well together, like Rahul Dravid getting angry. But Ravi Shastri is the ultimate party animal, dude. Like you're just putting him in his like natural environment. So there is no like contrast that happens.
Yeah, it didn't work at all for me. But yeah, everyone's asking what is Cred's business model. It's at least clear who their model is. Their model is Ravi Shastri. Business के बारे में बाद में बात करते हैं.
So after this, Kunal Bal actually like quote tweeted saying, I had no idea what was going on. Somebody like the first comment was, तुझे अभी इसके लिए अभी भी पैसा मिलता है क्या?
Right. So thanks for joining us again on Bits and Pieces. Until next week, when will we cover it? Before or after the IPL finals? Or during? Possibly during. Yeah.
Who knows? It's going to be as predictably unpredictable as the IPL.
As Ravi Ashwin walking in at X number for Rajasthan Royals.
Or Ravi Shastri walking into the party.
We'll decide based on our mood. But until then, thank you for listening. Listen, share, subscribe, do all those good things. And write to us with feedback, specifically to me, apparently, about the intros, but to all of us in general. Thank you. Until next time, bye.